Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on January 13th, 2024 at approximately 4:20 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide. And the reason for that is because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I personally live my life by. Now, before we get into what we're dealing with today is designing the new you in spite of the obstacles you may be facing. Now, with the gold, we have storm and shadow. And as per usual, let's find the screen. And we forgot to do that again. We're consistent. Where are we here? Whoop. Okay, now let us find the link to Storm and Shadows, the Storm and Shadows live feed. And whoop, right there. Just takes a minute to find it. We just added it in. So thanks very much for that, Storm. And this is the link. So go give him check it out. If you like what he has to say, do give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. And in with the silver, we have Chad Smith. And with that in mind, and this is the link to Chad Smith's archives. Absolutely, drop in, give him a link. He's got some really great content there. If you like what he has to say, do subscribe, do give him a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share the daylights out of the thing. It is literally by this sharing of connections that we are going to be able to turn the path that this planet, that this world is on. Of course, I'm not going to be able to do it on my own. Heck, I have enough trouble keeping my own going. This is why I forgot why I said I forgot again. But, that being said, where we start is the same place everybody is at this point. Okay, every single one of you is in the same position. Okay, well, let's get that collapsed. Okay, I do that twice, it would seem. Nope, that's right. Okay. Regardless of who you are, you're all in exactly the same position. Right here, right now. You can put things off, but the reality is, whatever you put off, by the time you actually do it, you're back right here, right now. Now, this is why I'm taking a look at my world and going, it's time to change it. Now, unfortunately, with the problem we've had over the last little while, we are keeping very close tabs. And, I do, with the moderators that are in the room, okay. And Chad, you're going to have to bear with me because I haven't seen you in here before. Like, as in, since I had to do the cleanup. So what I'm doing here, Chad, yes, I'll put your link in there. But in case there's a glitch, what I am doing is we pull. Okay, I pulled you off moderator, but I'm putting you right back on here. It's just literally a question of breaking any potential seals. So as soon as that updates, then I will be able to reinstall that. So let us see don't want to do that. As soon as that updates, then I will put you back where you are. It literally boils. I kind of figured you'd understand that one. It was suggested by a number of people that disconnecting the links might be a safety. It might be a decent safety precaution. Now, the fact of the matter is, I was hoping I was not going to have to go that route. Unfortunately, it turns out, there we are. And now we can put things back the way that we desire them to be in the first place. Because let's face it, Chad, you didn't actually do anything wrong. Okay, and we add that. And we now have you in as a moderator. Okay, back where things were. But, I was hoping that we wouldn't have to go that route. Unfortunately, that doesn't always work out that well. Honestly, Chad, I'm not 100% certain. Okay, I would recommend, I'm pretty certain who did it and why, and I am pretty certain why they did it. What I can't do is prove it. But Stormway may well be able to tell you that one. Fact of the matter is, just for those of you that are moderators, if from here on out, because of the problem I'm running into, apparently some of these children that come in here, and I use that term quite intentionally, yes, every one of you is a child, as am I. Okay, every one of you, whether you were born via normal methods, okay, and created as a child, or if you were born in a hybrid, either way, you still have a mother and a father. Therefore, you are a child. Okay, so with this in mind, okay, the children I'm referring to are the ones that seem to think it's funny when you say their name and it comes up and it comes out sounding like like some sort of a pornography name or something to that effect. Those of you that are moderators, absolutely, you see somebody who comes in with a name like that, absolutely, pop them out before they bother saying a word. I'm just not interested in having it anymore. This is intended to be a safe place for everyone. And, there are some people, like I remember I ran into a lady years ago that had her name legally changed to female. Now, it did beg some questions, but some people do have names that are a little off. I'm looking for the ones that are using legal names, that are using names that are literally names designed to cause a problem. I'm sure you guys understand that. I'm just not interested in the problems with it anymore. Steve Knox, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And Steve, you are in with the bronze today. So where it comes to the here and now, and this is why I've got this funny little list of mine. Put that over there. As I mentioned before, multiple times, the list works really well. As far as making sure that we keep on top of things. Philip Blair, you are in with honorable mention. How you doing? Hopefully your day's gone well. And yes, problems are definitively problematic. And I would love to get away without that problem, but apparently I don't get that way. But one of the things I'm doing on this thing, and yeah, that looks really good, but that's actually what I'm writing on, is a list of policies, and I will end up posting these for the live stream. Ferret, how you doing? Now I'm jealous. I'm very jealous. Okay, I wouldn't try and make nachos if you paid me a lot, I would. But last time I tried doing something in the oven, it came out as a mess. But the reality of it is, I'm putting a list of different rules and what have you, and I will be posting them on the stream. In my various different whatchamacallit, in my various different social media, in order to make certain, oh, not a problem, Ferret. We're not going anywhere. I'm going to post them in social media so people are fully aware. Here's the rules. And that way, and I will, for those of you that are moderators, I've got one or two options. I can either send you the list directly, or you can pick it up in the social media. Your call which way I do that. It's going in social media anyway. You know, but, the fact of the matter is, I'm going to have to rein things in a little bit more solidly. And apparently I'm going to have to, I'm not changing my temperature, so I'm going to open my window. So get him out of the way. Whoop. Okay, apparently I'm not opening the window. Something to do with it frozen and refroze. It thawed out and then refroze. But no, the way I figure it is this. I would love to hear what you guys are up to as far as changing your life. Now, there's going to be changes coming. I'm going to post them, however, as far as where the boundaries are, what I'm willing to deal with. And the reason for it is this. If I put a policy in and go, there's the policy. Somebody breaks it, nobody has to go, is this acceptable? Okay. Once the policy is in place, I won't have to worry about that, and neither will the moderators. First rule of business. Ow, that is a little too cold. Steve's going, Dave, just letting us know. Dave said it was minus 30 up by him a few days ago. Yeah, we hit minus 24, and he's another 8 hours north, so that would explain that. We just hit minus 24 today, and I went, I'm not leaving the house. I don't have to. I'm not going. But we're apparently going to be down around about that for a little while. Just taking a look at the 10-day forecast here. Oh, apparently today we hit minus 26 at some point. Oh, can't help but keep the window closed, and the window froze shut. So I can't even get it open, which is fine. If I really need to, I'll go up front and step outside the door. Heck, if I need to, I can open this door and the temperature in here will drop. But yeah, we're minus 26 today. Tomorrow, the high today was 27, was minus 17. Tomorrow we're going to be up to a balmy minus 11. And with those kind of temperatures, hey, look at that. Come next Friday, we will be looking on next Friday, we'll be looking at above zero again. Terrible, right smack, and we still have only had one light dusting of snow. Thank you very much. But yeah, the first thing you do, okay, in redesigning you for 2024. Now, we're already 2 weeks in. Okay, I've already put some things in motion. One of the things I wasn't planning on putting in motion was regulations here. Whoop. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah, that's what I was thinking there, Steve. Steve just goes, break out the shorts on Friday. In all fairness, a lot of people will. I will simply be wandering around in a t-shirt. I don't wear shorts. I haven't worn shorts, in all fairness, in probably 40 years. At the very least 30. As a matter of fact, yeah, it'd be about a decade ago was the last time I actually wore shorts. But that was only for one day. But no, the first thing you do is, of course, this that I'm sure most of you are familiar with. If you haven't done it already, get this sign, these 4 words, get them into a place where you can see them. Now, I've got a copy of them in my office here, on the fridge in the front room, obviously in the kitchen, and on my door itself. because these 4 words, I am worth it, are the 4 most powerful words in combination in any language I've come across. Okay. In any, we'll try English, any language I've come across at all regarding self-esteem, self-worth, self-motivation. And Shadow and Sun, how are you doing? Glad you could join us. And guys, here, and this is why I did this. Go here. And this is the link to Shadow and Sun's link, to Shadow and Sun's stream. Okay. Absolutely. Drop in, give them a listen, do subscribe to the channel, and share the daylights out of the thing. There we are. Okay. Because quite frankly, again, Shadow and Sun have some phenomenal tips where it comes to working with miniatures, where it comes to gaming, that sort of thing. Okay. So absolutely give them a listen. Now, the first thing we do is get that sign up. The second thing you do, okay, and I'm going to focus on, because you have policies, rules, policies, operating procedures for various different things. Every business you own, including your house, may have different policies. I'm going to worry about the ones for this stream right now. And therefore, it's simple. If somebody comes in using a name that when you say it, comes out with something vulgar, absolutely this is not acceptable. And people like that, I'm not going to worry about whether they've got something good to say or not. I don't want them in the room. Okay. Nice part is, my room, my rules. Somebody else has a room, somebody else gets to have their rules. That's one of the first things. And one of the first things, doesn't matter if they say hello. They will change their name or they won't come in. I'm not overly fussy about it. Okay. It's very much like in some cultures, it is absolutely imperative. Take your shoes off before you enter. Okay. You don't take your shoes off, you don't enter. It doesn't matter who you are. Okay. It's just a question of that's the rule. Okay. And like I said, karmic law is simple. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Okay. Now, I have made my blunders. I have definitely overstepped bounds in other people's rooms. Okay. Usually it's because somebody says something that I don't think, and my mouth goes into gear and my brain catches up later. Oh, perfect. Shadow goes, we also do a prepping series. It's not all fun and games. Absolutely not. Destiny Rocks, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Hopefully your day has been going well. Now, that is, that's the first thing that'll just get somebody removed before they get past the hello mark. Okay. I'm just not interested in it. Okay. The other one that will absolutely, and I am turning to the moderators here because I can't keep track of all of it, obviously. The other thing that will absolutely, and again, I will post all of these. I have no problem with somebody coming in and saying, I worship Satan, or I worship, I'm Jewish, or whatever. Don't care. Okay, it doesn't bother me. Absolutely. Say, this is who you are. This is who you worship. You're more than welcome to. I'll tell people point blank, I believe in God. I believe in Christ. That's the way that is. I'm not saying you have to. And I'm certainly not going to tell you I'm the only answer. Okay. So, somebody coming in here and starting to go, in the Bible, it says you must do this. I don't care if it says that in the Bible. It matters to me if, for instance, in Canada, the law in the law book says it is illegal to board an aircraft while in flight. That matters. Okay, because I don't do the vertical bar scene well. Okay, in here, you absolutely are more than welcome to believe what you will. I'm not here to prove things one way or the other. No better one for it. But I grew up being told that it's called Bible thumping. You have to do it this way. If you don't pay attention to this book, okay, then you're evil. Well, I got news for you. My brother, I know people that, I kid you not, they would read Playboy for the articles. Okay, that was literally what they read them for. And what they picked the magazine up for. And I know that sounds completely weird. But that was what they used and what they did. And you knew that he was reading the articles, because you could ask him about anything. And I mean literally anything. So I'm not here to tell people what you have to do. But if you're going to design the new you, first rule of thumb, design and make sure that what you are doing is something, the way you're treating people is the way you desire to be treated. Okay. Now, I don't know the better way of putting that, as far as the Bible thumping goes, because most people don't actually hang on to a Bible and go, this is the way it is, unless they're a judge, and then they put your hand on the Bible. Okay. With this in mind, people can believe what they will. I recommend you don't worship an off-worlder as a god. They've already been put in their place. Okay. But those are two of the big issues. The other thing that I am going to be keeping an eye on, or doing my best, and with the assistance of the moderators, and the rest of you for that matter, guys, I'm not going to deal with this idea of people turning around and calling people names. Okay. Not going to happen. I mean, it will happen, don't get me wrong. Because unfortunately or fortunately, free will, freedom of choice, chaos is going to happen. But we can keep it to a minimum. What I do intend to have people understand is that when you're designing your new life, like for instance, okay, don't need that. Well, technically I do. For instance, one of the biggest things I found is, and yes, I work in my bedroom because I have to. The reality of it is this. You want to change your life around, you start with the get-go. And literally the first thing you do in the day when you wake up, okay, as soon as your eyes clear so that you can see, bear in mind there are some glitches here. If you're blind anyway, you wait until your ears clear enough that you can engage where you are. Once that is done, the first thing you do, okay, is get up, go and do what you have to in the washroom, come back, and this is where it gets a little varied. Okay, now you come back, get your bed made. Okay, I know it's like, why bother? Well, the why bother is because you'll find it helps you feel a little bit more direct, more focused. Let's see here. Pop that. Hey, that works well. It will literally help you feel a little bit more focused. But you get your bed made, okay? Then get your bed made, and these three things all happen. Quite many of them may happen before you leave the room. Making the bed definitely will happen before you leave the room. Bear in mind, if you happen to sleep on a hide-a-bed in the living room, making the bed boils down to folding it up so it looks like a couch. Okay, so you're going to have what you're looking at is get the bed made, get yourself dressed, even if you're not dressed. I'm more productive. Okay, Some of you will want to and will do your exercises before you get started with the day. And again, if you do that, whether you do that before you get dressed or after, that's entirely up to you. Okay, now, the reason that we are looking at the idea, and bear in mind, okay, this funny little book here, okay, I've written all of this down written this part of it down anyway, but this is literally the backbone to how I changed my life in the first place. Okay, but the reason you make your bed and get dressed is because you get up, get your bed made. Now, you haven't even left the bedroom. And in my experience, you've just completed the most annoying job anybody ever invented. The one that virtually every kid complains about. Okay, and you haven't even left the bedroom. And in my eyes, you've got a win under your belt before you walk out the door of the bedroom. You're ahead of the game. Okay, now that's first and that's getting your day started. We'll get to more of the other stuff in a little bit. Okay, again, if you've got a question, absolutely, even if we're not talking about the same thing, absolutely ask, put the question in the chat room, preferably in all caps. Yeah, the waking up can be a pain in the neck too. This is why I've got this funny little thing called the coffee cup. I haven't quite figured out how to get the IV lane and the IV run. Raven, how are you? Glad you could join us. And we have Raven in the house. And if I can figure out where it is, we have I don't think I picked that one up yet. Raven, if you would be kind enough to put your new stream in, I unfortunately do not have it on my list right now. But if you'd be kind enough to pop it in, that would be really appreciated. And then after the show, I will copy it and get it on my solid list. That's how I got Storm and Shadow locked in here. If you'd be kind enough to do that, that would be appreciated. But this is the old stream for Raven. And again, drop in, give her a listen. If you like what she has to say, absolutely give her a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah, I woke up about an hour before. I've unfortunately there's Shadow. I've slept actually almost half the time. I've slept almost 6 hours between midnight and now. Well, I'm not asleep now. But you get the bed made and then you leave the room. And the reason, like I said, is you've now accomplished the most annoying job anybody ever invented. Myself, I don't like making my bed either. But I have found getting the bed made, getting yourself dressed, gets you started decently. Now, that being said, and you'll love this one, well, you may. All of these books, I am building workshops for. And down the road, once I figure out how to do certain things, I will be holding the actual workshops. This one I've already got the workshop designed for. Okay. Haven't got a price on it, but I know it's contained. But this is a workshop on literally how to believe in yourself and follow your dreams. I don't tell you what you have to do. Okay. We work through it. By the end of the program, you'll have things set up. And by the end of the workshop, you'll have things in motion. I will be designing workshops for the rest. And apparently we have a bilingual in here, unless you speak more than that. Because it would seem that Raven also speaks French. See, I speak bits and pieces of literally French, German, Spanish, French, German, Spanish, Japanese, English, American Sign Language, doesn't make a lot of noise, and Hausa. Hausa, by the way, is Northern Nigerian trade. And that's just looking at the... I found out something, Shadow. I found out variations on English that I do speak. I used to speak Pig Latin really well, but I do speak mumblies, and I used to speak slurries quite conveniently. I even managed to speak stutteries on occasion. And no disrespect intended to anybody except for perhaps me. But no, the fact of the matter is, in this chat room, this is pretty cut and dried. People speaking in English, I'll respond to. People that are writing in, and I've seen people do it, where they'll write in some other language. I'm looking at it going, the odds of my answering that are slim to non-existent because I'm not going to go and figure it out. Okay. Now, that being said, where it comes to people breaking protocol, as in, and we'll do it the easy way, as in Bible thumping. Once, absolutely, give the people a warning. Second time, don't give them another warning. Just fire them out the door. Because we don't need the hassles. I'm not here to promote one religion. Okay, I'm here to promote one thing. Working together. And you'll notice the term together. We can make this a better world for virtually everybody. There are certainly going to be people that don't like it. Okay. Now, we got those two. Now, I've got a number of projects I'm working on. And somewhere in this mess here, I've got a list of different projects that other people are working on that I really would like to see and to follow how they're coming along on it. Where are we here? Shadow goes, so I cannot recruit my cult member in my new cult here. Shadow. Yeah, I understand why you're going there. No. Now, I'm going to throw one wrench into that because some people that I know will see playing Dungeons and Dragons as being a member of a cult. As a matter of fact, we got accused of it quite consistently back in the 70s and 80s. And if you desire to recruit new gamers there, I don't have a problem. Uh-oh. Yeah. Philip goes, Bibles don't thump very well anyway. Besides, imagine a hand of drummers with only Bibles. That's actually not a bad picture. I have no doubt you did there, Shadow. The reality of it is, it's like I was telling somebody the other day. In D&D, you can get away with a lot of things, and you got to remember, all of my cultural upbringing happened. The primary cultural upbringing to be able to talk to people at all came around the gaming table, where we were taught that that laws were meant to be noted, because if in D&D, not in the real world, people, in D&D, yes, Shadow, they really can. And all you gotta do, I mean, you think about it. You strap a Bible. No, don't go there. We just won't finish that thought. In D&D, laws are meant to be noted in any game system. If you don't like somebody, you threaten them, you kill them, you frame them for whatever, lie to them, do whatever you will in the gaming world. Now, here's the problem. That's how I learned to socialize at all, from age 13 to age 23. No, sorry, age 13 to age 18. That was my entire social life, because around the school, I was bullied I was an outcast amongst outcasts. Of course, about the time I hit about 20 years old, I ran into a chap that taught me how to socialize in the real world. The training might have been a little off, because he was an ex-arm breaker from a bike gang. Okay, to this day we're still friends. But again, bike gangs have a real simple rule. Philip, tell you what, we'll try finding loopholes. Philip goes, is starting a cult permitted with the rules of D&D? If you can find, and I'd love to meet him, if you can finding a fighter to work in the real world, that's easy. Finding a thief, not so much trouble. You find somebody that can literally find, literally using sigils and using vocal components and physical components, cast even a magical light. Get in touch with me. I will be more than happy to promote him. Of course, in all fairness, you do realize you find somebody like that, the government's likely to lock him up and test him until the end of days. But again, if you consider starting a cult with the rules of D&D, if we take that, oh, nice there, Raven. Well, whatever you do not burn the house down. This would not be enjoyable, although it would be exciting. By all means there, Philip, if you decide you're going to run a D&D game, absolutely absolutely let people know and let them know how to get a hold of you. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we will even from this end give you a hand, as in if you open up a channel where you're doing gaming online and you're running a D&D game online. Okay, I will absolutely take a look at it and promote the thing, much like I do the streams here. Uh-oh. I cannot read that. I do not like that. Okay. Well, let's stop that. There we are. I just had to blow the thing up. I blow the printing up a little. The nice part about it is, I'm quite willing to promote people's entertainment, given that it falls under karmic law. And let's face it, D&D falls under karmic law very nicely. Okay, I'm just gonna play with this one. Raven, you've said it was a stuffed chicken breast with potatoes. With a stuffed chicken breast and potatoes. So I gotta ask, it went into the oven as a stuffed chicken and potatoes. What did it come out as? Or what is it in the middle of turning into? What is that? I need that out of the way. Oh, Shadow, that is just terrible. But I do agree with you, and I do agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah, Raven just added here. Yeah, it was a stuffed chicken and potatoes, and it's now black and charred. Well, at least you know what it was to start with. That's in my way. This little thing here. Oh, I want that for a minute. Robert White, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Well, with any consolation, Robert, it sounds like the way I cook, which is why, on the whole, I don't cook. Certainly not in the oven. I'm just thinking, Philip, it may be an idea to avoid it. Because I will tell you this. You take Lucky Charms, you put them in the oven, and the marshmallows are going to melt. I appreciate that, Robert. We do have, there's a couple of things because let's face it, you got caught right smack in the middle of it. This is one of the reasons why I contacted you because that told me right off the bat you weren't the actual problem, but we do have safeguards in place, and I'm going to be posting them. I'm going to be posting them on social media afterwards. But we've got people in watching for problem children. And the same, you can listen to the early part of this, but I don't mind restating it anyway. Ultimately, yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that goes back to Raven. Because Shadow just pipes up and goes, so the cats are getting a feast tonight. I don't know if the cats are going to like the potato salad. Mind you, if you mix tuna in with them, they'll probably eat them. Or mix the chicken in with it. But no, Robert, the reality of it is that we have people now watching and double checking newcomers and oldcomers, and old timers for that matter, but double checking everybody to make sure we don't have that kind of people in here. Also, if somebody comes in under a name that, if it is spoken, comes out sounding vulgar, we're just removing them beforehand. Okay, we're also removing Bible thumpers. People that come in and go, my religion is the only one available, is the only one that works. You don't follow this religion, you're going to hell. I got news for you. I've followed religion, I've gone to hell. Two different things, a lot of fun down in hell. They do not have half the restrictions that they got in heaven. And you can literally get away with murder in hell. Of course, you have to do it again and again and again. Kind of boring after a while. Yeah, that's why I told the doctor last time I went in. He told me I literally told him that I died and it didn't take. Told that to a guy trying to rob me one day. Pulled a gun on me. I looked at him and I said, "What are you gonna do? Shoot and kill me again?" He goes, "Again? What do you mean again?" I said, "It's been done before. It didn't take." He put his gun away and asked if he could buy me a drink. Shadow goes, baked Lucky Charms around here is a traditional family dinner around here. I know that Lucky Charms has been a standard meal around here. Okay. We just don't bake it. Okay. Now, mind you, I used to hang around, well, I used to be one of them, where it didn't matter what food we had around the place, I was usually baked. Not yet, but that is something I'm trying to figure out how to pull that off. You know, I don't have a problem with the gladiatorial arenas. Again, in my opinion, violence is acceptable in a mutually agreed upon sport. Okay. Now, I don't know if the gladiatorial arenas were exactly mutually agreed upon, but when I was there, I changed the rules on those anyway. I really do need to get a bigger cup. You remember the old one I had? I haven't found a replacement. But I am looking at this. Now, we're looking at what we got. Uh-oh. This is not a good thing. That's terrible, Robert. Raven's just going, it looks like I'm left drinking my dinner yet again. I'm hoping that does not mean that you're drinking alcohol. I knew a lady that literally that's what she'd do. She'd go, well, I can't eat this, so I'm going to have a drink. Not a wise idea. Been there, done that. Where are we here? Raven's going to make the kitties fight for the... Oh, fight for the honor of feasting on a chicken. I don't think that's a question of making them. You just got to put that out and they'll go at it. But I do like Robert White's outlook. Just make a sign saying, this may be Sparta. You know, I mean, I did try steak one day. Like I like my steak blue, and I don't mean cold. But I went in, I ordered blue steak from a guy in one restaurant, and he comes out and he goes, "If you're willing," he says, "I can make you blue, but I'd like you to try something else." He said, I know how to make Chicago steak. Basically, it boils down to blackened. Right, it's charred on the outside and literally cold on the inside. In my eyes, it tastes beautifully. That's terrible there, Storm. All right, no, Shadow. What we got? Yeah, that is absolutely terrible there. Yeah, Storm goes, more like carbon black. Shadow comes back and goes, hence the name carbon blue. I think that's supposed to be cordon bleu, but we can work with it. Thing is, we're redesigning this world. Now, I'm redesigning mine, or more to the point, designing it in the first place. And the first idea is get the guidelines down that you're going to follow. Okay, and remember, if you desire people to follow the rules in your room, or in your business, in your house, whatever, be absolutely certain you're following the rules in other people's houses. See, the neat problem is this. People turn around. People turn around and they go, well, I want people to do what I want, what I desire them to do in my house. It's my house, my rules. Same applies. In order to have that happen. LA Moon, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Yeah, by the sounds of it. Yeah, LA's gone. We're at least redesigning the kitchen. The thing is, the whole catch of this to redesigning things is to go, okay, what am I actually looking for? What are you actually looking for? Now, the big thing on my end is this. All of you have goals. And what I'd like to see happening, see some of you come up with this is what I'm working on. Yeah, you absolutely do, LA. This is why I always held the idea that if it ain't moving and it's got the right texture, then we're probably good to go. Not everything fits that bill, though. But the redesigning the office and streamlining it, what have you, is absolutely a critical issue. Now, I'm lucky today. I was really happy because I woke up this morning, and that's where it started being happy. And then I got depressed because I realized I'd woken up. And that is something else that I've already that I put in place. You'll find in the newsletter, okay, that is another item. Phil's just gone, I'm looking for peace. Okay. And something I decided that I've got in the newsletter is a very simple statement. I choose peace. Okay. Conflict happens. Do not get me wrong. There are wars all over the world. Okay. But if you count the number of people actually directly involved in war, okay, compare those, and I don't think you'll ever come up with the number on this one, but compare those to the number of people that are actively involved in seeking and working towards in enjoying peace and celebration. You will find there are way more good things going on in this world than bad ones. Okay. And I mean, I know people who, unfortunately, nicest people you could meet or close to it, and they have had bad things happen to them. Okay. Bad things do happen to good people, and good things happen to bad people. The trick is to focus on the good things. Okay. Oh, heavens, yeah. Peace and encouragement, literally. Where are we here? Well, as the saying goes, Raven, I am not the carpenter, the plumber, or the mechanic you are looking for. Although I do know how to cure your plumbing problems altogether with just a little bit of sodium. Although that may not be the solution you're looking for. But when we take a look at peace, I mean, you think about it. People promote war with the idea of war is good for the economy. This is why so many people are absolutely stuck in poverty, because war works so well. You know, work is good for society. It encourages change. Really? No, Raven, that one I won't tell. Ask me that offline. I'm not going to tell you how that works on air. Those of you that know how it works aren't going to tell anybody either, because there is a problem with it. But absolutely, Raven, drop me a private line, and I'll be more than happy to fill you in. But there is a very big problem with some things. I remember protecting, and somebody phoned me up one day. Their ex, who had been arrested for attempted murder, had broken out of prison and had already said he was going to come and kill her. Well, she called me when she heard that that her ex had gotten out of prison. And she phones me and goes, "How do I deal with this?" So I got her to calm down and got her to lock her house down. But I said, whatever you do, do not let the police open the door until after you disconnect this all. Yeah, clearly if it's not blowing up, it's not too much. It's not the wrong sodium. But I told her, make absolutely certain you turn around and you stop the police from opening the door until after you disconnect it. So she did that when the cops showed up at her door a little later. And we found him, we've got him in custody. And she stopped them. And when they got inside, they took a look at the setup on the floor and they went, "What the heck is this?" And she goes, "Well, and she said, I phoned a psychic to find out how to protect myself." Well, the cop unfortunately misunderstood her, and he looks at her and his eyes just got huge. And he goes, "You phoned a psychotic to find out how to save yourself?" And she goes, No. A psychic. Right? So she ended up putting the cop on the horn to me, and I explained what I'd laid out. And he goes, "Where, pray tell, did you learn this?" I said, "Well, number one, I'm a gamer. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for decades, as well as Aftermath and various other post-apocalyptic games. Many of the people that I play with happen to know demolitions." And the guy looks at me and goes, "Oh, so you weren't trying to hurt us?" I said, No. The idea was if he came through the door, he'd already tried killing her. So this was a question of she was to warn him not to open the door, and if you open it, so be it. Terry, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And oddly enough, in a way, you might look at it that way. Am I a spellcaster as in D&D style? No. But do I know how to modify energy patterns and thereby accelerate healing in other people? In other words, remind them how to heal themselves? Absolutely. Okay. And yes, that said, I am when I talked about opening up a school, okay, to teach people what I know, I wasn't kidding. No, I am not going to teach people how to blow things up. I got a friend that actually is a demolitions expert. He's not going to teach them either. Okay, but will I teach you how to modify your own outlook on life? I'm putting together workshops. I just have to work out the length of time it's going to take and thereby the price. Because will I be doing it? Absolutely. Yeah. Philip goes, brick powder was protective in a movie I saw. Absolutely. I actually knew of a young lass when I was in high school. I knew of a young lass that was in senior high that literally she didn't carry a mace in her car or in her purse, nor did she carry brick powder. She used to carry a full brick in the bottom of her purse. I really don't care where he went, in all fairness. Trolls exist. Okay. Now, when I was, up until I got on the air here, the only idea I knew of what a troll was regenerated at a staggering level, and they can be controlled. Okay. The trolls I found out exist here, not impressed with. No, didn't bother. She carried a physical and actual brick in her purse, and boy, did she know how to use it. Well, salt actually will create a barrier. It absolutely will. Okay. Um. Oh, there we go. Yeah, salt does work. Okay, to hold spirits back. Not entirely certain how, although I suspect it's because it draws the moisture out of their system and makes it impossible to bore and to move. You know, and sometimes things will happen, but cold iron again. Cold iron doesn't work as well. Cold iron does work when you're dealing with certain entities. But of course, think about it, like the drow say, death by natural causes. Because naturally, if your heart is removed, you're going to die. Gee, you haven't met the fairies I met, have you? The funny thing about it, the one thing I will tell you while we're on the idea of protection, garlic again. Yes, gravity is very natural, and yet, according to one young lass in the States, we are apparently suffering from a gravity shortage. No idea why, or how for that matter. I always found if you get along with the fairies, they'll send you back. By the way, trying to pluck the wings off fairies is a really bad idea. It's funny. I found because of my interaction with different races, I found that this whole idea of being trapped in a place doesn't work that well. I spent more time locked up because of situations on this planet than I have anywhere else. Although I will tell you this, on the Sazazian homeworld, there is an interesting little problem. You're not opening the door without their help half the time. But when you're designing your life, take a look at the way things are. Yeah, definitely not there, Philip. Philip goes, yeah, nobody likes a wing plucker. When you're looking at your own life, literally, the key to changing it is figure out what you're not content with. Don't worry about what you might like a decade down the road. Take a look at the here and now. Are you content with the way your world is right now? If not, we start shifting things, or more to the point, you do. Now, that's not going to work. I was going to say, let's see a show of hands for those of you that are really content with the way your life is right this moment. Okay, I'm thinking there's not a whole lot of hands that are going to be able to show and not be shown here. Primarily because, well, let's face it, we have a hiccup. But I've got my office laid out now where what I'm aiming for, as a matter of fact, the newsletter, we are now, what's the number here? 2248. We are now at a staggering 48 subscriptions to the free newsletter. Okay, and much as the reality is that the newsletter is free, and there are many topics I will not discuss on here. I'm not going into debating the veracity or the legitimacy of any spiritual belief structure. Okay, I'm just not doing it here, nor am I going to tangle with the mainstream medical profession, my opinion of it, or my outlook on it. Let's suffice it to say, I've got my own outlook on it for me personally. But if it's helping you, stay with it because they probably know more than you do. The one thing about the medical profession that I will caution you against is that funny little doctor that everybody nowadays knows. Dr. Google. Not necessarily the brightest doctor on the planet. Bear in mind, that same doctor will tell you throwing salt over your shoulder will protect you. And the only time I've seen throwing salt over your shoulder protect you effectively regarding modern medicine is if you've got an assailant coming up behind you and you throw a salt block over your shoulder. Odds are it is. Now, Philip asked, will you discuss the events expected in 2048? That I'm quite willing to look at. Okay, there's a number of things people have told me about. Okay, and like I said, I'm going to do my best to stay focused, but good luck with that. It doesn't work that well. But there's a lot of changes coming up. One of the big things that we can safely say is the odds of us having world peace by 2048, not really good. Okay, there's a lot of work to be done, not the least of which is bring people's IQ and maturity level up. IQ I'm not worried about. Some of the most mature people I've ever run into have tested IQs well under 100 points. Okay, but maturity level, when people on the whole are not going, look at how here's photographs that are going to embarrass this person. They don't want you to see these, so here they are. Okay, this kind of childish behavior. I wouldn't play, think of it this way, Ferret. Okay, I was diagnosed as a child. I was diagnosed mentally retarded. Nick Adkins, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Things are going well here, absolutely. Well, yeah, Philip, that's very true. Philip goes, if you're being chased by an army of murderous snails and slugs, throwing salt over your shoulder may save your life. Absolutely. Same as if you're being followed by the attack of the killer tomatoes. At least you can eat your victims and they taste better, but make sure you're throwing pepper with them. One thing I did find was throwing sneezing powder into the face of an inhaling red dragon is a bad idea. And it is a good way to wipe out a character in a heartbeat. It worked out well for wiping the character out, but it did not do what we intended. It was, Robert. You got to look it up. 1950s. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. It was an absolutely hilarious horror show. I don't know if it was intended as one, but it was funny. Kind of falls under the same category of oh, good. Yeah, those are some of those movies. Movies are wonderful things on occasion. But the reality of it is, if you're not content with your life, do your best not to look down the road and go, what's it going to be like in 10 years? Will I like this? That doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Take a look at the here and now. If you're not content with the here and now, change something in it. If I recall correctly, most of them were beefsteak. Okay. It's been a while since I watched the movie, but most of them were beefsteak tomatoes. Very big things. Nasty, sharp teeth, which, by the way, real tomatoes don't actually have. I didn't see that one. Although I will tell you, I am in the middle of co-authoring a book and co-authoring a crime, like a crime novel, come horror novel, depending on who you want to talk to. Not my forte, okay, but the guy who's doing the other half of it, he knows that side of it. I know how to write. Yes, real clowns do have teeth. Oh, Lord, yeah. They're not overly impressed when they get dropped into a blender either. Although they feel a little better if you throw, I believe it's vodka you throw in with them, and a little bit of spice. And now all of a sudden those killer tomatoes make a killer drink. There are other drinks you can make that are killer as well, but we won't get into those. But no, I'm looking at this. I've got my office sorted out, which means I've got the capacity now to write properly. Yeah, no doubt that, Robert. It's like I was talking to somebody the other day. They were talking about, they held up a watermelon, and I didn't think about what I was saying, but they held up a watermelon and they said, these are really good. I looked at them, I went, and I didn't think about the young adult that was beside them. I looked at myself, I personally never took the watermelon unless we count taking the watermelon, punching a hole into it, and emptying a bottle of vodka into the watermelon, and then leave it sit for a little while. Then the watermelon tastes really good. It's kind of like Black Tower wine. The wine at the top of the first bottle ain't great, but the wine at the bottom of the fourth one is absolutely smooth as you can get. What we're looking at overall is a world that is changing. Okay. And it's one that we have the capacity to change. Now, all alcohol, number of books I'm in the middle of reading. And this one, I'm making headway on them. This particular one of my goals this year was to finish reading this book, which is The Legend of Sigurd and Gudrun by J.R.R. Tolkien. Okay, but I've only got 43. I've only got another 30 pages, and it's finished. And I'll move on to another book. Because I have decided it's time to really increase my reading. Okay. Oh, absolutely, Ellie. You just need to get it. This book is called The Legend of Sigurd and Gudrun. Okay, by J.R.R. Tolkien. Now, as I've mentioned, I happen to be what you might consider a Tolkien fan, which is why all those figures up above me all the ones up here, those are all the little miniatures. They got handed to me for an absolutely beautiful price. I got them for free. Now Sigurd is from Sigurd is one of the characters from way back in the Tolkien world. Now, I'm not entirely certain, but clearly J.R.R. Tolkien did a lot of his information, pulled a lot of his information, and a lot of his legends from Norse mythology. Okay. So there's a lot of reference to it. But I will tell you, this is a book that I am finishing in because I decided I was going to. It never did catch my attention, aside from it being written by Tolkien. Thank you, Raven. I appreciate that. Yeah, he spelled it differently, but yes. And there's a whole Sigurd and Gudrun are tied together in a bizarre relationship. But I will be finished that. And like I said, there's only 30 pages. Oh, okay. There we are. Inspired by someone with that in mind, I'm going to go and grab my coffee because it's got an extra hole in it. I know what's happening. This chap here, see, I got Wolverine on, and I've got the dragon from Skyrim on the other. And one of these two is being a pain in the neck and drinking my coffee on me. Hey, Ness, how we doing? Glad you could join us. Be right back, guys. Okay. Nice thing about coffee only being down the other end of the hall. Number one, it doesn't cost me $7 a cup. Yeah, absolutely. Let's face it. There are priorities in life, and coffee is one of them. How we doing, Christine? Glad you could join us. You know, if you listen to the early part of the stream, I've started laying out rules and what have you. Yes, I did catch you saying hi, and therefore I did say hi. But, you know, it does cut out periodically, and there is jack I can do about it. You know, the important factor is that I have unfortunately had to start putting boundaries in place, and the moderators have been told point blank, you know, the moderators and everybody else has been told that there are a couple of things that just don't get handled anymore. See, Christine, I never understood why they made decaf in the first place. You know, but hey, teach their own. You know, but a couple of things that just will get, like, doesn't matter what question and what topic we're on. If you've got a question, come right out and ask. Okay, put it in all caps. Do put it in, you know, put at least partial caps or at least a wavy hand so I can see where it is. I may not get it, but, you know, I'll do my best. We are not going to try and compare me to Dave Scott's ability on Spaced Out Radio. See, now this is the part this is what I don't do. And Raven's just adding up. Sigurd also known as Snake in the Sky, was a Viking who became king of the Danes. But I will tell you, in my opinion, if you're a Tolkien fan, then absolutely I recommend picking this up. Okay. If you're looking for a fast read, not one of the best books. But I've been reading Tolkien. Well, The Hobbit was the first book I ever actually found I didn't desire to put down. So I kept reading it. Oh, that makes sense. See, I have coffee in the morning, coffee in the evening, coffee in the afternoon. I will tell you, Philip, I don't know if decaf is for fire breathing dragons. What I do know is that sneezing powder is not a good idea in front of a fire breathing dragon. I also know about 10 years ago in the outskirts of in the wilds of England, they found the remains of a small 3-foot lizard with a dual nasal cavity. One side was absolutely charred black. The other one was clear. Now, to me, this means they found a 3-foot dragon that was dead long ago. Okay. Do I believe in dragons? Absolutely. Of course, in all fairness, I believe in, of course, I believe in, God. I believe in Christ. I believe in Santa Claus, leprechauns. I even believe in that extremely elusive thing called common sense. And I swear that's an endangered species. But take a look at your life and pick one thing you're not content with. Just one. Okay. And make a modification to it. Doesn't matter what the modification is. You can always change it again. The reality mistakes. Some of them I did quite intentionally. Yep, and absolutely there, Philip. So do I. And no, I do not believe that he's living somewhere, residing in seclusion. And neither do I believe that the Martians came and stole him. Okay. There was a lot about him. My brother was an absolute phenomenal Elvis Presley fan. Neat part with my older brother is even until he was in about mid-40s, he was still able to sing soprano. Okay, he stopped being able to sing soprano when he had a stroke that immobilized him. Can't imagine why that ruined his singing. And yeah, that particular brother passed away a decade ago. Well, actually, 13 years ago now. Which reminds me, I do have to get a hold of one of my other living brothers. So, thank you for that thought process. This is why I have this little thing. So, when I come up with a thought, I can write it down, and I know where I lost it. I used to tell people I lost my marbles, which I did. But about a week ago, I found some of them. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Oh, what we got? Yeah, just something to be clear, guys. We are, thanks so much to the moderators. We are looking into everybody's past. The only past I'm not overly concerned with is mine. I'm looking into it. But we're looking into everything to make sure this stays a safe place. I am not interested in the kind of shenanigans that came up the other day. As a matter of fact, in all fairness, I almost closed the doors here. Oh, NS, we had a problem with a major problem child that broke into the chat room under multiple names as near as we can figure. Okay, and was blocking people out, was disconnecting people. Okay. Oh. Problem child, I'm presuming. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. This is why I've asked for your guys' help. Okay, and for those of you that aren't doing anything wrong, this is what I mean by we've got people working in the house to eliminate problem children. You know, because these kinds of people, in my world, you know, these people just, there's no point for them. But thank you so much. This is exactly what we need to deal with. Okay. And you can bet they're going to be a pain in the neck. But I will do my best to stay with things. You know, the sad reality of it is that, you know, I come from a very different world. Ultimately, I agree with that there, Philip. You know, this is why I said, you know, I'm not worried about people's IQ. I'm worried about maturity. Now, at age 18, they tested me for my maturity level. And the sad reality was at 18, I was apparently thinking like an 81-year-old, which tells you how much fun I was as a kid. Yeah, I'm just seeing what's going on here. You know, the unfortunate part, Ferret, is that we're going to end up, you know, the unfortunate part is that some of this, you know, we are going to do our best to keep this safe. Okay. But the biggest problem that I run into is the majority of people are really decent. Then we get one or two that are an absolute royal pain. And that's where this is why the world is in a bucket. Okay. It's because of the extreme few. You know, so I mean, I could go around in circles on that one. The reality is, because my ability to spot these technological people is limited at best. On the plus side, if he wasn't, then things will sort out. If he was, you know, if he wasn't a problem, then he will either look into it or, you know, and I unfortunately I have to look at this reality. Okay. I desired this whole stream to be absolutely safe for everybody. Okay. Unfortunately, the rest of the world doesn't think the same way. Or maybe that's fortunate, I'm not sure which. That doesn't surprise me, Storm. Storm's just going, when I checked it before I made my message to him, it did. It doesn't now. Well, clearly, if he knows he's been spotted, if he's got any ability, he's going to turn around and change it. Okay. This is just what I call common sense. But the reality of it is that because this is an area I don't know. I take my car to the mechanic when I want them to, when my car isn't running right. Mick Jagger's still alive. That's amazing. I don't know if Mick Jagger ever will die. I know that Keith Richards, he's already completely embalmed. Absolutely. Uh-oh, what did you just realize, Ferret? I'm literally giving you the minute to point out what you just realized. Oh. Ah. Okay. Well, this is why I say some of the people that come in, it's amazing. They want to come into in and create a problem. This much is clear. And then they do something absolutely bizarre. I've got I literally was talking to a shrink one day, and the man literally told me the only functional problem I have anymore is very vocal temper. Right. He says, you have a heck of a temper of a vocal temper when dealing with what you consider stupid people. So he goes, you're perfectly fine. Go home, have a good life, enjoy your life and stay away from stupid people. And good luck with that. Unfortunately, as I told a friend, I gave a friend of mine a t-shirt one day. It says, God must love stupid people. He created so many of them. Yeah, see, I don't have much of a sense of humor, is what I found. But no, I'm in the middle of redesigning policies and what have you. And this is why I say, when I look at it, problem children with names that are complicated, absolutely, or that are deliberately intended to create a problem. Okay, we're just not waiting for them to be a problem. Absolutely, Philip. We're also not dealing with people that are going, this is the only religion you can follow. I have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. Matter of fact, I've barely got enough answers to get by on. And half of those I have to make up as I go along. But will I, as I've told you guys, after so many people the other day popped in out of nowhere going, look, do your best not to shut the stream down because we desire it here. Okay, because it is helping. So I am going to do my best to tolerate it. What I'm not going to do is tolerate it long enough to cause myself another heart attack or another stroke. Heart attacks are painful, but I can deal with them. I'm not having another stroke. Just not going to be one of the options. And I am going to, like I said, on social media, I am going to be posting the different rules for the stream. Okay. And now right now the only social media I have are Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Okay, I have been told to get into a few others. Okay, so I will be going into other social media and becoming a little bit more visible. Okay, but the reality is this idea of working behind the scenes to try and help straighten this planet out isn't going to work. This is why I said If I mentioned it the other day, and I'm still seeing these videos come up where if you actually calculate it out, okay, with the number of different videos that have come up and said the dental industry is in trouble, it doesn't want you knowing this. Okay. Where are we here? Phil, a lady in Southern California, was asked her advice for longevity. And she said, she tries to avoid toxic people. And absolutely, Philip, that is absolutely brilliant advice. If somebody is causing you stress, disconnect from them. Whether they are a stranger, a friend, a close friend, a relative, a parent, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. No, it really boils down to if they are making you feel worse about yourself, okay, than what you already than you are. If they are focusing on making you feel less of a person, these are toxic people. Now, I will tell you, if you have to be listening to this stream and you're living in your parents' house, you still have to follow the rules of their house. You must follow the rules of the laws of the land in which you are. This said, respecting your elders can only effectively be done if they are respecting you. Okay. Now, I've already done my time, quite literally, over the years, over the lifetimes. I have been shot. I have been hung. I remember being drawn and quartered one day. That was a really bad idea. Not a fun one. Nathan, how you doing? Oh, well, there is this funny thing about chores. We may not like them, but they got to be done. I also, on top of being hung, drawn, quartered, got keel hauled. That was a lot of fun. But when I was running the dragon ship, I found keel hauling the person from side to side, they live longer. You keel haul them from bow to stern, and they usually don't actually survive the keel hauling. Kind of counterproductive. But then I also did time hanging around on a cross. Ended up with a little bit of time where a number of times when being killed the hard way, was not an enjoyable thing. Matter of fact, I remember, I didn't actually know Vlad. I knew of people that did know Vlad. And I'm referring to Vlad the Impaler. I was lucky I was not one of the ones that ended up a decoration on his fence. But I did find out something. I remember one lifetime where I was a thief. And they never did deter me. But I did get really good at it. In my case, I literally had both my hands cut off. And I still managed to rip people off. You just have to get creative in your way of thinking. Yeah, I do. This is why I don't break the law this lifetime. Is I don't do the vertical bar scene. There was one lifetime when I was a very successful artist and inventor. And the latter part of my life, I spent behind bars because what I was inventing went against what the church said. Church said, this is the way the world works. And I'm going like, but this worked better. Oh, they said something about way too many thefts at the time. The one trip was the constabulary said something about stealing from the church was not acceptable. And so I was convicted. I was convicted of theft, of heresy, of literally inciting a riot. I don't know why they called it inciting a riot. All I did was break into their antechamber, stole a coffer and dumped it on the street out in the middle of Baker Alley. I don't know why they called that starting a riot. All I did was, I ended up tripping and the coffer got dumped. Honestly, Steve, one of the best lifetimes I had, was from, let's say it'd be 1733, would have been, I was 28, so I was 5, would have been from 1798 until, well, it was great until 1828. Okay. And I was literally a fisherman on the northern coast of Ireland, due northwest of Dublin, Ireland, right up on the Atlantic coast. Oh, heavens, Phil, yeah. I did not start the thing. Understand that riot, I was not responsible for starting the riot. Matter of fact, I spent 40 years before it became a riot trying to convince the Senate that treating the common people like garbage and taxing the daylights out of them while you treated the other people, your friends, like gold. And then you start arresting them and throw them into the gladiatorial pits. You're asking for a fight. So, and I'm still trying to remember the exact year. I think it was just before the birth of Christ. When I went back in and came in as a gladiator. And the only thing I did in that riot, I knew it was coming, and I told the other gladiators, I said, look, I know people are going to get killed, but when the riot starts, leave the innocents alone. If the military is coming at you, if the military is coming at you and they throw down their weapons, let them run off. I know you're going to end up killing some people. Hey, Pepperoni, how you doing? The answer is yes. Back in the early BCs, I was a gladiator. Okay. I do not know what number. I can safely say it wasn't 152. Because the reality of it there, Philip, is number one. That is an excellent question. There is no way I can give you a number there, Pepperoni. My past life memories, and you're going to find this one hard to swallow. But if you take the Big Bang, the whole Big Bang theory, call that a flip. Okay, my memories date back 1 billion flips. Okay, so I've got no way of giving you a number of lifetimes. Philip goes, I'd be a sad gladiator, a satiator. That's just terrible there, Philip. Actually, in all fairness, I didn't mind being a gladiator. The nice part about it. Oh, thanks, Christine. What are we at here? Yeah, we are aiming for 1,000 again this year in hope. Oh, yeah, Nathan, I did. And I don't have the information right in front of me. I was sorting it around. I do have some information for you as far as those people go. They are newcomers to the area. Okay, but I will have to get back to you because I don't think I've got it readily available. It might. I don't think so. let's just take a peek. Got a whole pile of information here I've been going through. Yeah, this would take a while to go through and piece together. Oh, okay. Nathan, absolutely. I will find it as soon as I get off the stream here. I will track it down because I do have some information for you. In this case, I got some information for other people too. And since I've already slept half my day anyway, thank you very much, Nathan. I will. The odds are I'll be up. Like I said, between midnight between midnight and 3 o'clock this 3 o'clock this afternoon, I actually ended up sleeping 6 hours, which not a good setup. That would seem to be the case there, Nathan. Yeah, unfortunately, it usually does, but at least this time I ended up with a little more sleep than normal, and I have every intention on staying up this time. Well, I usually have the intention of staying up. It just unfortunately doesn't work out. I know on the one Friday, what happens when I'm on with Dave, what ends up happening is I end up getting really caught up in things. Absolutely, no doubt there, Shadow. And this is what I'm talking, guys. And of course, this is what we're referring to here. And we had it a minute ago, but we're going to do it again anyway. This is the link that a bunch of us are apparently going to be congregating on. Okay. Is this one. So drop in, give us a lesson. Not a problem there at all, Nathan. Absolutely, guys. Drop in, give Nathan a listen. If you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. It would be really appreciated. Oh, that was the wrong move. Completely botched that, didn't we? And now, what do we got here? We go refresh that. Hit the wrong button and completely scrambled my other feed. The reality of it is, it's this kind of sharing and promoting each other's stream that gets this and that is going to help turn this world around. The fact is, I have an open door policy. The door is open for everybody. People that are on the up and up, that are really working to help people, absolutely, no question, the door is open for you to come in. Those people that are here to cause a problem, absolutely, the door is wide open for you to go out. I got no problem with people going away. Okay. For me, it's a question of helping people understand. What do we got here? Yeah. Gee, are we talking games and game theory as in Stormtroopers there, Shadow? I heard it put one day that life is just a game, which maybe it is. I'm lousy at it. I didn't develop a sense of humor to speak of. But I will tell you, there is no doubt from my standpoint, I'm going to do what I can. And of course, if you've got questions that you didn't get to, Thank you so much there, Storm. I appreciate that. Don't you love people like that? Yeah, well, there's nothing you can't argue with. Well, absolutely, there's Storm. You know, no problem. Yeah, it's always, this is what I'm referring to. That, when I said we have problems in this chat room that I was hoping we were going to avoid, but sadly I've tried avoiding stupid people on the planet, and that hasn't worked that well either. But one thing I will be clear with for any of you listening in, okay, the reason I've got the moderators I've got is because, quite frankly, I don't have to try and figure out whether they're above board. I already know. You know, and this is why I'm asking them to do it, because I cannot. I've got no way of doing it myself. And since I don't, it's very much for me like the idea of I desire to go and visit somebody via plane. I gotta trust a pilot to fly. You know, the reality of things is very simple. We have a problem that I'm not happy with. And of course, the unfortunate option here, and I don't have a lot of options. Yeah, the reality of it is, pepperoni, and for all of you, if you're not causing a problem, unfortunately, well, unfortunately, the disaster that we had the other day has created a problem with luck. Things calm down a little, but we'll see what happens. The other thing that we also have to realize is all of these videos are still going to be available for playback. And it's a question of, and this is why I say, even if we go the extreme level and we go back to the idea of the death penalty, yes, some innocent people will get caught in the crossfire. Absolutely. But the problem children are the ones that are going to, the problem children. The nice part there, Ferret, is it's not a question of everybody being accused, but you got to realize that if they are newcomers, well, yeah, well, that was sort of what I thought. But no, newcomers, unfortunately, we've had way too many problems in the last little while. And yeah, I'm a firm believer that it was one person. Problem is, which one? So things will calm down, I'm certain of it. In all likelihood, yes. Whether he stays gone, that's pretty much this. And this storm is exactly, this is exactly why I turned around and went, look, this is the problem I've got, because I'm way out of my league on that one. Can I identify people face to face as to whether or not they're dealing on certain levels? Certainly. This is why when I talk to people that go, oh, I deal with off-worlders all the time, and they don't recognize a visible one, I look at it going, there might be a hiccup here. Yeah, I mean, Philip, looking at that, I actually saw a plane crash tail first. And that's what taught a friend of mine, a very strong up and coming archaeologist. He turned around and said the thing that got his attention was the fact that I told him the plane had crashed tail first. He said they're not designed, they can't usually fall that way. All in all, this is one of those unfortunate changes. Like, I've told people, I've got no interest in sitting on a pedestal. I really don't. And I was very tempted to walk away because people kept putting me on one until I talked to a gentleman. I forget who it was, but he turned around. Yeah, I agree with you there, Shadow. You know, this one gentleman I was talking to, he turned around and he says, look, you cannot stop people from putting you on a pedestal. The key is to make sure you don't start behaving as though you're on a pedestal. And I am no better than any of you. Some of you are worse than. Okay. One thing I'm not is I'm not going to apologize for being me. There are days where I wonder about that, but of course, there's days when I wonder about being me. But like I said at the beginning, and obviously, I go, this is what we look at. This is what we're striving to start with. But the reality of it is that on this stream, things happen and it literally gets driven by the way that the conversations are going. And the sad part of it is, this is why I was saying there, Ferret, where you're going, he probably banned 2 innocent guys. He may have. Okay. And that said, if they're innocent, they'll try and come back. Okay. It's just literally a question of things are not as stable as I would like. I would love it if people walk into a room and go, okay, I'm just going to, and none of this is going to happen. Shadow, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Yeah, yeah, no doubt. We'll catch you in the quantum realm. The unfortunate part is that there are things in this world that are going to continue to go bump in the night. Am I going to be able to sort through all of them? Obviously not. But, I mean, I look at it this way. Literally, in this case, I was a step, Oh, I don't know. Stables, I also found out, are great places to give birth. Or more to the point, are great places to be born. Stables in an old shack underneath 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 a canoe. There's all kinds of places that are useful. But stables are great for horses. Unless the horse wants to run, at which point you're in trouble. But no, the sad reality of it is that my first or my initial maneuver was going to be to shut the stream down altogether. Okay. But then a number of you piped up and went, no, please don't. So I went, okay. Between the number of you guys that said, please don't. Yeah, and unfortunately, Ferret, and this is the problem. And this is one of the biggest issues. This is why I'm keeping things to a minimum, because I've got to have somebody in there to work as moderator to spot true problem children and deal with them, because there's no way I can. And my only other option would be to kill the stream altogether. Now, the newsletter, on the other hand, is going to continue running anyway. Okay. And I'm going to continue. As a matter of fact, don't think I've got any more on the newsletter. I sent a bunch of new ones out today to new subscriptions. So, I mean, this kind of a mess, much as I don't like it, it's a little better theoretically than shutting the stream down. And am I going to turn around and go, no, the moderators are overstepping? They may be on occasion. But ask yourself this. Is shutting down, banning a few people not acceptable losses, but is it less of a disruption than shutting the whole stream down, which is my only other option? This is one of the biggest problems that we have to look at. The reality of life is this, and it applies across the board. It takes forever and a day to build trust. It takes a nanosecond to wipe it out. Okay. And the reality behind it is that, frankly, people will do things that are stated and certainly apologies are necessary. Apologies come in. Okay. Problem is, many people still get hung up on the past. I don't handle change well. So, just to be clear, I'm in the middle of redesigning my life, or designing it for the first time. The first 55 years of my life, I avoided people, and subsequently I avoided life. Yeah, that's why I can't. Okay, if you're having an Arctic, whereabouts do you live, Philip? I've got friends in northern Alberta that are saying it's like minus 50 below. I've also got people in Utah living up in the mountains. Well, it's neat. I needed to go grocery shopping today because we were out of milk. But thanks to my ex-wife, I now was able to phone the grocery store up, and I don't even have to leave my house except for to take garbage and or recycling out. I don't have to leave my apartment until next week sometime. This is just the reality of it. Now, with that in mind, whoop. Oh, there we are. Oh, Phil's just going Eastern Washington State in Grant County. See, I've been down to Skagit County. Was down there a couple of years to speak at the UFO conference down there. But I haven't been down there in years. Neat part is if you're really close to where I live there, Philip, because I'm up in Kelowna, which is if you grab the I-5 and head north, the second you hit the border into Canada, it swaps over to Highway 97. Carry that up, you cannot miss Kelowna because 97 goes right through it. Okay, with that in mind, will I go for coffee with people, that I meet? Absolutely. I just don't leave my house very much, that's all. But as we found out, trying to run the stream longer than 2 hours when I'm talking essentially steadily is a bit problematic. So, with that in mind, we are hitting we've just hit the 2 hours. So I do want to say thank you so much. Oh, his brother isn't far. Your brother is in Wenatchee, Washington. Yeah, that's not too terribly far away. But I do want to thank you guys all for sharing your time with me. I really do appreciate it. We will work through the bumps. Okay. Thanks again, Steve. You have a good night. So we will be back. But until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.